Hey, what's up, and welcome back to Interpreting the Stars, where today we're bringing it back to the world of Charlie's Angels with the newest reboot, remake, reimagining, reinterpretation, re-something. Maybe it's just a sequel for all I know, I don't know, but this is the most recent film directed by Elizabeth Banks. It stars Kirsten, Stewart, Naomi Scott, and Ella Balinska as our new lady spies. You may or may not have expectations when it comes down to the Charlie's Angels brand, but the real question is if this interpretation still applies and is germane to those expectations. Let's get crackin'. This review is brought to you by the word of the day, germane, relevant to a subject under consideration. Charlie's Angels brings us back into the world of lady spies when a new tech gadget is stolen with malice intent. You see, this smart device called Callisto can potentially kill people if handled by somebody with evil intentions. The Angels must find the device with the help of an inside source before it's too late. So this film kind of, sort of operates like the 2009 Star Trek film where it looks different, feels different, is different, has a new cast playing the characters, but it also takes place kind of, sort of, in the same universe as the movies, with Cameron Diaz, Lucy Liu, Drew Barrymore, and the cast of the TV show as well. I found that to be, in general, pretty cool. It's not much of a spoiler, though, because it alludes to that fact in the very beginning of the movie, and it doesn't actually affect the movie as a whole. It's just a nice little tidbit, if you will. It's hard to believe that's the case, though, because the tone of this movie is a lot more grounded and realistic than the cartoon nature of the previous two films. That could, of course, be a good thing. It could also be a bad thing, too. This isn't exactly a loved or revered film. It tanked at the box office, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the movie is bad. It just means that it didn't get any reception. In the case of Charlie's Angels, the marketing was just so bad, and nobody cared enough or was hyped enough to see it, so they didn't. Again, that doesn't mean that the movie is bad. It's nothing game-changing, it's nothing incredible, but the pacing itself works 1,000 times better than the pacing does in McG's films, both of which felt like a number of TV show episodes where the story goal kept changing. The goal in this film was always the same. Get the MacGuffin, save the world, that's it. Plus, if you hated the self-aware, campy style of McG's films, then by default, you'd probably enjoy this movie more. The actual downfall of this film came down to the plot, retrieving the MacGuffin. Now, it's this MacGuffin that is beyond stupid and unbelievable. They did something similar in the first movie in 2000, but this is even more out there. To give you an idea, it's basically about an Alexa or Google Home device that has the ability to EMP a human brain or a heart or something, which makes no sense, nor does it even try to back up how this device is supposedly able to do this. I mean, sure, you have electrical synapses going off in your brain, but that's not exactly enough of an excuse to EMP a person. When it comes right down to it, that's the main negative thing that I have to say about the movie. Everything else mostly feels business as usual, but unfortunately forgettable. Like, really forgettable. I can see people watching this movie and forgetting about everything that occurs because you don't really care about what's happening in this movie. You don't really care about these girls either. Do they have chemistry? In ways, yes, they do, but the girls in McG's films had an insane amount of chemistry, and their spirited personalities transformed those films into something else. I think the reason why those ridiculous movies work so well when they do is solely because of the chemistry that those girls had, and these girls didn't. Also, I forgot to mention that the editing in the film was rather bad, especially for an action film. All the fighting, all the action, the camera was just all up in there, and you can't see anything that's actually happening, and I blame Elizabeth Banks for that. You want to direct action sequences way, way, way better than that, girl. The best thing that I have to say about this movie, honestly, is the fact that it kind of feels like a straight-to-DVD or a high-budget TV film released on one of those many streaming services that are better than TV, but not as good as cinema level. Because when you pick apart the movie, you realize that it's not terrible. It has elements here and there that are good. It has a decent chemistry when it needs it. If they zoomed out, I feel like the action would have actually been pretty good. Patrick Stewart as a Bosley, that was pretty cool. There are things in this movie that I did enjoy. Don't get me wrong, but it is really a very meh film when it comes down to enjoyment. So I feel like I'll soon forget this thing exists like everybody else. At the end of the day, I scored Charlie's Angels a 62%, 62 out of 100 possible stars, granting it a meh letter grade of D. This actually means that Every Charlie's Angels film that I watched was in the 60th percentile. They're all Ds. If you're wondering which one is technically the best out of the three, I'd probably say Full Throttle at 68%, just because the insanity of its ridiculousness was, for me, hilarious, so bad that it's good. I really enjoyed myself. It still wasn't a great movie, though. Then it would probably be the 2000 film at 65%, and this would be the worst movie at 62. I don't know. Better luck next time, Elizabeth Banks. Guys, let me know what you thought about this reboot in the comments down below. Did you enjoy yourself, or did this thing leave something to be desired? As for YouTube, you know what you should do. Hit the subscribe button if you like this review, because there is more where this came. Hit the thumbs up button, because that always helps out my channel. And don't you dare forget about that little bell icon, because that little bell does you a favor by helping you notify when I come out with my next review. And until then, peace out!